Ian, it's lovely to meet you again. It's been quite a while since we last spoke, but your new film, Renegades. Now, back in the day, you did a lot of action scenes in The Saint, notably, but you are slightly older now, shall we say? So, are you finding that the mind is willing, but the flesh is weak when you were doing these scenes?
Yes, yes. Yeah. The fact is, could you run up those stairs? Well, I can walk quickly up them. It's a bit like that. Yes, inevitably. And you look back on all the stuff you used to do, and you go, "Gosh, wouldn't it be nice if you could do that still?" But you just can't. That's all there is to it. But on the whole, they treat us very nicely. They don't ask us to do too many difficult physical things.
So no injuries, no kind of, straining anything, pulled muscles, anything like that?
No, no. I mean, the worst thing they could ever ask you to do when you're my age is to could you get down on the floor and then get up again? It's a simple thing like that. It sounds so easy, but that's when you get to my age. It's actually anybody who's listening to this who's my age will understand immediately. It's the idea of actually getting on down onto the floor to to pet a child or pick up a dog, and then trying to get back up again. It's a problem.
Well, I noticed in the credits of this that Jonathan, the producer, was a stunt double for Lee Majors at one point. Did he double for
Was
you
he
at
now?
any
Was
point?
he? I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Yes.
So, Jonathan, you've worked with before on "We Still Kill the Old Way, We Still Steal the Old Way," and he gets these really, really fantastic stars of, old school stars. Um, but do you find that when you've got together, you kind of all of you of that generation kind of reminisce and swap stories and see how much the industry has changed over the years, over the decades?
A little bit. You know, work when you're old, unless you're Anthony Hopkins, it kind of dries up a bit. So it's very pleasant to be in a movie all of a sudden. It's not like I go from job to job over here or in England either. So it is nice. Oddly enough, with the Jonathan Sothcott films, like Billy Murray, I've worked with before, and most of the crew, and yeah, no. On the whole, we don't swap acting stories because, to be honest with you, you begin to understand that they are in fact really boring for anybody to listen to, and you've probably told them before. So unless it comes up, you on the whole don't sit around and reminisce. No, not much. No.
Well, you've also there's Stephanie Beacham is in the film as well. Now
Yeah,
you worked with Stephanie a long time ago, back in the early '70s, in and now the Screaming starts.
yeah.
Did you get to meet her? I know you don't have a scene with her, but did you get to?
No, no, no. I mean, I only knew she was in the film. She's an old friend. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm in the
yeah.
film. Oh, great, good, good, good. How lovely. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I also did a play in the West End with Stephanie, so we've known each other for a very long time and are great old friends. Yes. So, but I wish I had had a scene with her, but I just didn't. So, because she just had the one day on the show, really.
Yeah,
That's what she did. Yeah.
but
That's
she's
what's the thing about Jonathan. What is lovely about Jonathan is he drags us old involuntarily retired actors out of involuntary retirement and makes us work. And it's a great pleasure, and we're all very grateful to him for that.
well. I was going to ask, how did he persuade you to get involved in this? Because you've not worked with Jonathan for some years now. What was it that got you back into this?
Well, you just asked me.
Oh, right.
I mean, he was he was making other films, which he didn't need me for.
Right.
Not all his films are about old retired people coming out and beating the shit out of young people. They're not all like that. Well, some of them are, but not all of them are. Yeah. He
The other
didn't
thing,
need me. He doesn't need me always.
well, the other
It's very
thing,
nice that he likes to use me, and I'm delighted, and long may it last. But I don't expect it all the time.
because I've always had this certain image of you, Ian, from predominantly the Saint, but being very clean living kind of guy, and very by the book. But you are as you were in We Still the Old, Still the Old Way and Still Kill the Old Way, remarkably potty mouthed in this. Um,
Yeah.
and is that kind of like a bit of a release for you to have a role like that?
It is rather, yes. That's one of the things that attracted me to it. The first one in particular. I mean, my English agent, bless her, um, you know, emails me very occasionally about a job, and she emailed me about this with the phrase, "I don't suppose you want to do this." And I looked at the script, and I said, "Why on earth would I not want to do this?" You know, I know it's a low budget thing, but for heaven's sake, it's a fabulous part and one I've never done before. So I had a lovely time doing that. I keep wanting to go back and doing that character again. In fact, I said when I was doing this show, this Renegades show, I talked to Jonathan and I said, "Oh, am I doing Cockney?" He said, "Oh no, heavens, no, 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 no. We want you to be all suave and yourself." I went, "Oh shit, really? Okay, okay, I will." But I really like hiding behind Richie Archer, my Cockney character.
Well, going on from that, I was looking back over the interview that we did some while ago, and you said that Jonathan was referred to you and called you an icon of cool.
Is that
Um,
what I told you?
yeah, yeah, and that you were kind of saying to your wife that you must now refer to me as an icon of cool because Jonathan, that's what Jonathan says I am. I'm just wondering, what is Jonathan calling the rest of the cast in this?
Oh, we're all icons of cool, you know. We're all of us, I think, all of us in one one respect or another, icons of cool. He comes up with, the first thing he called me, which was even nicer, was legendary. When I heard that I was the legendary Ian Ogilvy, first of all, it made me feel incredibly old, and secondly, it made me feel incredibly famous, which is the second one's better than the first. So I like being the legendary, and I think if he says that cool, I'm cool, that's lovely too, you know.
So finally, I've got to ask you, and I've mentioned this before to you, is Bond. Now, your name was always in the mix for Bond.
Mm.
Um, I know that you've done radio plays of Bond scripts, but now Daniel Craig is gone. Surely now this is your moment.
Yes, well, it is. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. It is my moment, and they should be on the phone to me right now, and they should be calling me up, and they should be saying, begging on their bended knees, "We will pay you $100 million just to come and be in it." Yeah, yeah, of course they should be. But you know something? They're not going to.
Yeah,
We know this. You know this. I know this. I mean,
surely
I
not.
they turned me down 40 something years ago, so
Well,
they're not going to come back to me.
I find it remarkably short-sighted of Barbara Broccoli that she's not banging at your door.
Well, the thing about the whole Bond franchise thing was that I was rather relieved, to be honest. I think I told you this before. I think I was rather relieved when I heard I wasn't going to be it because I never really felt I was quite right for it. The Saint at a pinch, yes, but Bond, is something else entirely. And I didn't really ever have the stature, the physical stature for it. You know, I stood next to Roger Moore, for instance. He towered over me. Same thing with Tim Dalton. They're both much, much larger men than me, and I always thought I didn't. I always thought I was a bit physically lightweight for it. I suppose I could have gone to the gym and bulked up for about 6 months. I could have done that, but it was a bit of a relief, frankly, to know that I wasn't going to do it, and I was going to go on to other things. Yeah.
So going forward, then, what can we look forward to from you next? I know you're writing in the children's books and whatnot. Will you be working with Jonathan again soon?
I would. I will in a heartbeat. There's a oddly enough there's a western floating around in the background, in which I he's offered me he's interested in me, should we say, to play the town doctor, the old town doctor who joins in the fight. Oh, that sounds a lot of fun. I've only ever done one at Western before. There was a series over here called Briscoe County. With that lovely actor whose name escapes me. And I thought, oh, good, I'm going to be in a western. I'll dressed up as a cowboy. And of course, I'm playing a Scotland Yard detective in a deerstalker hat. So that was no fun. But this time around, I could be the town doc. So that would be lovely. I don't know what it's called. I can't remember. But that's hovering around as a potential movie in the background.
As ever, Ian, it's always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you ever so much for your time.
Pleasure. Thank you.